Good evening everyone. Welcome to Tathastu ICS. My name is Pooja Sharma and I am your current affairs faculty. Today we are going to discuss our daily Hindu analysis of 11 January 2025. Now, let's start today's discussion. This is the QR code of our Telegram group from where you can actually access the PDF files of these DNA sessions. Okay. So, let's start the discussion. Okay, before going into the discussion, let's go through the new areas which are going to start at Tathastu ICS. Please go through them if you are interested. After that, let's see which important news we are going to discuss today. The first news we are going to discuss is about, this is the news on your front page, okay, the front page of the Hindu analysis, right? So this is to maintain status quo on a well, you know that, near Sambhal mosque. Sambhal mosque is there in Uttar Pradesh. It is a mosque. Again, it is from last few years, this mosque has been a disputed one. Okay, disputed one. So there is actually a well near the mosque. There is a well near the mosque, and the both parties are claiming over the well. One party is saying that well is a part of mosque, the other party is saying that well is a part of an ancient temple on which this particular mosque was established by the Mughals. Now, so we are going to understand what is the final verdict of Supreme Court and what are the related issues regarding that. Along with that, we are going to understand what actually this issue is. Okay. So now, second news is related to the India's engagement with Taliban. We all know that India actually does not recognize Taliban as a government of Afghanistan. Okay, but Taliban, which is the current governing body in Afghanistan, we actually had a talk with the Taliban, and Taliban actually said something good about India, that they are grateful for India's humanitarian aid. Now, this is not the important part of the news. The important part of the news is that why we are engaging with Taliban, though we are not recognizing Taliban as a government in Afghanistan. So what are the India's interests? So we need to know our interests so that we can go through the process. Okay, so we are going to discuss that also in detail. Then there is another news, which is, there is actually a study. This study is saying that 2024 was the first year to breach the global warming limit. What is this global warming limit? We all know that the conference of parties, okay, every year it held. Recently, conference of party 29th was held in Baku. So this conference of party, or you can say that the international consensus is that the global warming, the temperature of earth should not exceed 2 degrees centigrade to the pre-industrial level. Okay, so it should not exceed the 2 degrees centigrade from the pre-industrial level, right? But what is our final aim? Our aim is that we need to keep it under 1.5 degrees centigrade above the pre-industrial level. So this is what the required, what is the desirable temperature if we are going to take care of global warming. But now the study is saying that 2024 was the first year which breached this 1.5 degrees centigrade limit. 11th month out of the 12 months in 2024 actually witnessed the highest temperature on the earth since we are actually we are collecting the data regarding the temperature of the earth in general. It is actually the mean temperature. This temperature is not only 1.5 degrees centigrade, it is talking about the increment in the temperature from the pre-industrial level. Pre-industrial level, you can say that around 1800 century. So from that point of time, how much the mean temperature every year is increasing, we need to contain it to the limit of 1.5 degrees centigrade, but it should not exceed the 2 degrees centigrade target. So if there will be a target, that will be considered as a breach. Now, this is also considered as a breach, but this is a breach in the 1 year only. So it is also an alarming thing, but it is not something that global warming is actually here. So because it's just the 1 year, if the such kind of increment in the temperature is going to be there for the more than 1 month, or though you can say that consequently 3 to 4 to the 10 years, then we can say that the global warming is an issue and we have actually breached the limit of the global warming. So we are going to know about that. Another article is related to your, it is on your editorial page. It is on your editorial page where the article is actually discussing about the National Youth Festival. We all know that 12th January is being celebrated as a National Youth Festival all over the India, because 12th January is also the birth of Swami Vivekanand. On the birth anniversary of Swami Vivekanand, we celebrate the Youth Festival. Okay, so it is also known as the Youth Day. So right, this year there was a important competition which is going on at the My Bharat app. So this article is actually related to that. What is this competition, how it is going to inculcate the habit of decision making or the innovative idea, especially the technological idea among the youth of our country. Right, now the fifth article is very simple news, that Rupee sinks to 18 paise, close to a record low of 86.04 per dollar. It means $1 now is equal to 86.04 rupees, and rupee is actually being weakened. So we are going to understand what are the reasons for that, what are the reasons which are there in India, and what are the reasons from the US side also. That's why the dollar is becoming stronger as compared to the rupee. So we are going to discuss all these 5 articles today. Let's start the discussion with our first article. Again, first article is related to a Supreme Court's final judgment, not the final one, one of the direction that there should be a status quo on a well near the Shahi Jama Masjid in Sambhal. Sambhal is there in Uttar Pradesh, citing its historical significance. According to Supreme Court, this particular well has been a part of this Shahi Jama Masjid. Shahi Jama Masjid is 16th century Jama Masjid. So it has archaeological or historical value attached to it. Okay, along with the architectural value attached to it. So that well, if this well is a part of the mosque, or the well is also that old, which is like it was built in 16th century, then it will also become a part of heritage. And this well was actually disputed because one party was saying that this well is a part of a Harihar Mandir, and another party was saying that this well is a part of the mosque and this well should not be utilized for any other purpose. So in the light of that only, Supreme Court has given this direction, because before that there were petitions. Before that there were violence also in the Sambhal based on this particular issue only. Okay, so the Mosque Management Committee is actually saying that the well was very well within the premises of the mosque, but the other party is saying that it is the part of Harihar Mandir and the religious activities were there. But right now the Supreme Court has given a status quo. Supreme Court actually put a ban on any kind of activity related to that particular well. Now the court has instructed that actually the party which is saying that it is a part of a mandir is the local authorities as well. So local authorities are also one of the party which is in favor of the temple. Another party is the mosque or the Mosque Management Committee. Okay. Now, why this case is here? This case is not a new one. This case actually follows the earlier violence which happened in Sambhal based on this mosque only. This is a 16th century mosque, right? So matter is further there, and the next hearing is going to be there on 25th of February 2024. But now, what is the main important part of this article is that what is the controversy of regarding this Sambhal mosque. Actually, this mosque was a 16th century Jama Masjid built by Babur's general Mir Hindu Beg. But one fraction of the society is saying that it was actually built on an ancient Harihar temple That's why there is dispute, and this dispute is actually affecting the other disputes also. We all know that in Uttar Pradesh there are so many areas where such kind of dispute is going on. For example, Varanasi's Gyanvapi mosque is also one of that example, in Mathura also, right, and in Dhar as well. But we all know that we have these Places of Worship Act 1991. Now the article is saying that despite we have the Places of Worship Act 1991, what is the meaning of this act? This act actually put a status quo on the status of a particular religious place as it is. For example, if one religious place was a mosque on 15th of August 1947, then that particular place will always be a mosque. If a particular place was a temple on the 15th of August 1947, then particular temple will remain a temple. The same goes with church or the Gurudwara or any kind of other religious place, because now it prohibits the altering of the religious character. Now the religious character of a religious place cannot be altered, but such kind of controversy is actually directly challenging the Act of 1991. Now the mosque, a protected national monument with architectural significance, has historically seen peaceful coexistence among community. This is the first time we are witnessing that there is some kind of clashes between the community when it comes to the Sambhal mosque. Before that there were no such kind of clashes, but all those clashes, we all know that everything emerged from in the particular 1 or 2 decades only. I hope you understood the historical background of this particular mosque and what actually is the issue and what is the issue related to this particular well. So the mosque is disputed one, but right now in this news, the well which is very near to the mosque, that is also a disputed one. Now someone is saying constructed by Babur's journal actually, right? Now let's come to our next article. Next article is very interesting article. The Taliban is saying that they are grateful for India's humanitarian aid. We all know that India gives so much humanitarian aid to Afghanistan. Along with that, there are so many Afghanistani refugees also are also there in India, right? So what is the news? Actually the news, our foreign secretary actually Vikram Misri has met his counterpart in Afghanistan. So there was a talk between that, then talk was there and talk was in the favor of India only. So the Afghanistan is also saying that now the present condition of Afghanistan, the present status of Taliban is like that, does not pose any kind of threat to any nation. They don't want to pose such kind of nation. Someone is asking that, but ma'am, Chanchu make a statement on worship is valid. Yes, the Worship Act of 1991 is definitely a valid act. It is an act. Okay, it is definitely valid. So there is no doubt in that. Now the regime actually expressed its gratitude also towards the Indian government that they are giving humanitarian assistance to the people of Afghanistan. Also they talked about the Chabar port. Chabar port is actually not in Afghanistan, it is actually in Iran, but that port is actually going to facilitate the trade between Afghanistan and India as well, because we all know that between Afghanistan and India there is Pakistan. So it is not very easy for us to have a land trade between Afghanistan and India, but through ocean we can do that, but Afghanistan is a landlocked nation. So Afghanistan also needs some kind of port, and the nearest port is the Iran port, Iran's Chabar port. If this port is going to be there for India and Afghanistan, then it is going to be beneficial for both countries. That's why they were talking about the Chabar port as well. Now again we are going to understand that why India is strategically engaging itself with the Taliban. Though we know that India does not recognize Taliban regime in government, India does not say that they are actually giving sanctity to Taliban. Okay, so we don't recognize Taliban as a government in Afghanistan. Why it is that? because it is not because they were terrorist group once upon a time, it is still a terrorist group. It is because of the issues related to women right, okay, the kind of right they are giving to the women which is not as per the international humanitarian level. That's why we don't recognize Taliban as a government of Afghanistan. Now why India is engaging with Taliban? So that is the question. This is actually the real question which we are going to take away from our article. Now the first is there can be many issues. The first can be the countering China. So because we know that the Pakistan and China, they have their own nexus and they are actually creating issue in the Pakistan occupied Kashmir also, right? So we are already in a difficult neighborhood. Afghanistan is also one of our neighbor. So if the relation between Afghanistan and India are good, because historically our relationship with Afghanistan were always better than our relationship with Pakistan or China, okay, let's say. So we always wanted to have a good relation with Afghanistan, but we don't have the democratic government in Afghanistan, but Taliban is there. So we can actually engage with the Taliban also, so that we can actually counter the China also in this particular reason. This is one of the reasons. Another reasons are related to the different infrastructure project in which India has its interest in. Some of them goes through Afghanistan, or some of them has a total impact of Afghanistan on them. So what are some kind of such infrastructure project? One is their Chabhar port only. Chabhar port, actually we need Chabhar port basically majorly for Afghanistan as well. Other than that, we have this international north-south transport corridor, and we have this Tapi project also, in which Afghanistan is also one of the party. Again, Pakistan is also one of the party, but Afghanistan is also one of the party. And Tapi project actually can easily provide us the natural gas. So it is not only in the interest of India, it is in the interest of Afghanistan also, right? What is Tapi project? Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan and India. So there is going to be natural gas pipeline which will come from the Turkmenistan, and it is finally going to come to the India as well. So it is going to take care of the gas requirement, natural gas requirement of these three countries. Okay, Turkmenistan is the source country. Another are the Afghanistan, and then we have Pakistan and India. Okay, so India may it is going to cater 16 to 18% of India's natural gas requirement, right? Again, India continues to provide humanitarian aid without having any issue with the Taliban government also. Okay, so these are the reason why we are engaging with Taliban. Another reason is related to the Pakistan. We all know that Taliban's relation with Pakistan is deteriorating with time. Once upon a time, they were having nexus with each other, but with time, their relation is actually getting strained. So India can actually leverage on that. Why India want to have a leverage on that? What is our ultimate aim? Our ultimate aim is finally to ensure that Afghan soil is not being used for any kind of anti-India activities. Okay, so the strained relation between Afghanistan and Pakistan will always benefit us. Okay, so that's why also we want to engage with Taliban. Other than that, India want to act as a stabilizing factor in Afghanistan also, because we know that Afghanistan has gone through a lot. Right now, the most important aim of India as a neighbor should be to bring some kind of stability in Afghanistan. We can think of the developing or improving the issues related to women or other different minority communities in Afghanistan, but right now stability is the most important thing, or stability in general is the most important thing a nation requires. So India can actually act in that also. Tapi pipeline is called peace pipeline, yes, but it will be called peace pipeline if its geostrategic or geopolitical implications are positive, and we really hope that the geopolitical impact of this pipeline is going to be good only. Now let's come to our next news. Next news is again very interesting news, that 2024 is the first year to breach the global warming limit. So why, from where we get this data? This data we get by the Copernicus Climate Change Services. Again, you need not to remember by is the name of this particular organization which has given this data. What is important that humanity has actually stepped into a future that the climate scientists for decades have warned about. So what was the issue which the climate scientists have warned us about? The climate change is the reality, global warming is the reality. Finally the temperature of earth is going to that high that there is no coming back from that. Okay, so that is actually the issue. Okay, but we have already stepped into that, because 2024 is being considered as the year, the first year where we breached the 1.5 degree centigrade target. Okay, what is this target? So it is the first year in the history when global mean temperature, it is global mean temperature. First of all, it is a global mean. It means it is not the temperature of a particular region, say India or USA. It is the mean temperature of all the places on the earth, first of all, and it is mean temperature. It is average of all the countries also, and it is average of all the months of that year also. So what is the meaning of 1.5 degree? It means that that increment of 1.5 degree from the pre-industrial level. Pre-industrial level means what was the temperature around 1850 and 1900. Why we consider the industrial level as a benchmark? Because before industrial revolution, there were no warming on the earth. Even if there was a warming, the warming was a kind of a natural warming. It was not anthropogenic. It was not created by human. But the industrial revolution actually created so much pollution which was being done by the Western country. So in that time, especially in the 20th century, it has been done. But in the 21st century, when developing country wanted to do that kind of pollution, because it was their time to have their own industrial revolution, at that point of time we were being warned about this global warming. So developing country need to look for a sustainable growth. Though the Western country never looked for a sustainable growth, they had only looked for growth. Okay, exploitation of natural resources and the exploitation of environment as well. So now it has breached. Now we have, out of the 12th month, the 11th month of 2024 witnessed this particular temperature, which was 1.5 degrees centigrade above the pre-industrial level. Now what will be its implication? So that is very important. Again, the writer is saying that a single year with temperature 1.5 degree above the pre-industrial level does not mean we have reached the 1.5 degree centigrade global warming. It is just the 1 year. Okay. However, it does not mean that we are getting dangerously close. If the such kind of temperature is going to be there for a decade, then we can say that yes, we have reached this global warming limit. But right now it's just 1 year, so we need not to worry that much, but again we are getting close to that particular target. So again the scientists are looking it as a failure of COP19. What was the failure of Conference of Party 29? Because we did not agreed upon the climate finance. Climate finance was something which actually developing country needed. Why? Because they are doing their development right now. They need resources, they need money for that, they need investment for that. But the rich country, the wealthy country who has already done their part or took part in the pollution generation of the environment, they are not giving the desirable amount to the developing country. So the issue of climate finance could not get solved in the Conference of Party 29 as well. That's why we say that Conference of Party 29 was kind of a failure when it comes to the negotiation related to climate finance. Okay, but we need now article is also saying that the implication of this global warming is always going to be more on the developing countries, but there is no funds to facilitate the sustainable sustainable growth in developing countries. Now it is saying that the mitigation ambition of the developing world would be hit hard unless the fast and meaningful action happen on the carbon market front. Even if we don't have climate finance, at least we can do something about carbon market. Carbon market means purchasing of the carbon credits. So this is how you can manage. For example, if USA wants to have some kind of carbon credit, they can purchase it by establishing a clean energy infrastructure in a developing country. This is how also we can create a clean energy infrastructure. So carbon markets are also very important. Again, climate finance could not get finalized in this particular conference of party also. So that's why the scientists are saying that international community is not giving funds to developing country, but with time the climate, the global warming is also in front of us. We can see that this month, this particular year was actually breached the 1.5 degree centigrade increment to the pre-industrial level. So again, it is an alarming issue. Now let's come to our next article. This is your editorial article. Again, in this editorial, the first part of the editorial, this, and the last part, the My Bharat app, this is important. Other than that, you need not to, this part is important, where they are going to tell us about what is this actually Viksit Bharat Young Leaders Dialogue. It is about Viksit Bharat Young Leaders Dialogue. So it is a 2 days dialogue which is going in Delhi right now from 10th to 12th January. So what actually is going on there? So your article is all about that, and what is the significance of this particular dialogue or initiative. So let's discuss this article now. So article is saying that every year on January 12th is being celebrated as a National Youth Festival, because it is a birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda as well. Now the Department of Youth Affairs is organizing this particular dialogue, that is Viksit Bharat Young Leaders Dialogue. Look, this why it is known as dialogue, because here with the medium of communication or dialogue or the skill showing by the youth can actually take part in the actual policy making in our India. So there are 4 steps into that. So we are going to know about those 4 steps also. So dialogue is actually going to provide a platform for young leaders to engage in discussions, exchanging of ideas and collaboration on the solution of nation's challenge. So there is a competition. So let's understand how this competition is going to work here. So the competition has 4 stages. In the first stage, there is going to be a Viksit Bharat quiz. So it is going to held digitally at My Bharat platform. Actually, I think it is being held right now as well. So to test the knowledge about the sustainable development, technology and national policy. So the focus of this quiz is going to be sustainable development first, second the technology, and third is the national policy. If a particular group or the particular person is going to win the first round, then they will go to the second one. Second one actually is an essay or blog writing competition, especially on themes such as technology for Viksit Bharat or empowering youth for Viksit Bharat. Again, technology is in the center in the first round also and in the second round also. If someone is going to pass the second round, then they will go to the third round, where there is a Viksit Bharat vision pitch deck. It is, the name is complicated, it is actually just a PowerPoint presentation. What is your idea about Viksit Bharat? So the students or the young population is going to give a presentation of their ideas of Viksit Bharat. Viksit Bharat means developed India. Okay, developed India. So how we can develop the India? So major aim of this exercise is to harness the innovative solution which is there in the mind of the young population of our country. Again, what is going to be their finale? Finale is very interesting. In the finale, the selected team will pitch their visionary solution to the Prime Minister of our country. If they are going to pitch their solution to the Prime Minister of our country, so it is a unique opportunity for them to, to reach their ideas towards the policy maker itself. Prime Minister is the final executor, you know that. So if he is going to like one of the idea, he can actually execute that idea also. So this is in itself is a unique opportunity to influence national policy and contribute into India's vision for a Viksit Bharat. Okay. So this was this particular competition. Now let's know what is the role of this My Bharat app. So My Bharat is the Mera Yuva Bharat. Okay, so it is short form is My Bharat. Actually, it is an autonomous body under Ministry of Youth Affairs and Support, and it is actually playing a big role in this particular dialogue. How? By having some kind of digital integration. Digital integration means a person need not to come to Delhi to take part in the competition. They can sit at their home, and even after that they can take part in this dialogue, and it is actually going to support, facilitate the support for the youth led initiative also. Okay, so it is actually by taking part in this particular dialogue only is the major work which My Bharat is doing right now. So this was all about this article. Majorly this article is about this particular initiative, 2-day initiative on National Youth Festival. Now let's come to our last news for today. Again, the last news is that Indian rupee sinks to 18 paise, or finally we are at 86.04 rupees per dollar. So $1 is equal to 86.04 rupees right now. So what are the reasons for that? So decline was actually driven by a stronger US dollar, rising crude oil prices, and negative sentiment in domestic equity market. It means Indian market. Okay. The foreign institute investor FII outflow also added pressure on the rupee as well. Other than that, this is what is happening in India, what is happening in USA. So strengthening of US dollar was also there because by expectation of the restrictive trade measures under the incoming US administration. We all know that the Trump 2.0 is there, and Trump is going to put some kind of restrictive trade negotiation. Okay, the trade is going to get restricted, so everyone is being worried about that. Only because of that the dollar is being strengthened. Okay, again the forex expert predict that the continued market weakness, strong US dollar and persistent FII outflow, inflows nahi ho raha hai. So we are actually, what is good for our country if investment is coming. FDI is for long term. So you don't see this word in the news very often, that FDI outflows, because FDI is already there for the long term. FII are there for the shorter period, for the shorter term. So they came to our India, but they can easily go out of our country also. So FII outflows are something which is bad for our economy, because we want investment. So investment is going away. So that is actually problematic. So if II outflows are going to be there for a longer run, and if the market is going to weak and US dollar is going to get strong, so this can actually happen in the near future, which is the forex expert are saying like that, which is actually not good for the economy also. Now someone is asking, India is developing underdeveloped economy. India is developing or underdeveloped economy because UPSC accept underdeveloped, please clear. No, India is a developing country. There is no doubt in that. India is not underdeveloped now. So we consider ourselves as a developing country. So if you look at the per capita income, then we lie in the middle income group. In middle income, we lie in the lower middle income group. So in our country, the per capita income is in the lower middle income group. Okay. But we are not a developed race. Now most people already assume that Trump 2.0 will possibly impact on US economy and also capital. Yes, it is definitely going to impact USA, because it is going to bring so much uncertainty in the world. So uncertainty is the biggest enemy of economy. Economy also needs stability. Okay, if there is no stability, then the market, you know, the stock market, investment market, whatever kind of market you are saying, that the collaboration between two countries, everything depends on the stability only. If there is no stability in the world, then how can we have the growth? So Donald Trump is known for the uncertain decision making, so that's why everyone is fearing like that. Okay, so this was, so let's do one question also. This question is about your Viksit Bharat Young Leader dialogue. So please read the question as well. So which of following is not a feature of the Viksit Bharat Young Leader dialogue? So the event include digital participation to engage youth from remote areas of India. Is it correct? Yes, this is actually correct. The second, the event only focuses on traditional cultural performance. Look, whenever we think about National Youth Festival, what comes to our mind? Cultural performances comes to our mind, but this year National Youth Festival actually took a better step. Here the involvement of other kind of activities also, okay. So this statement is not correct. The third is the Mera Yuva Bharat or the My Bharat platform support youth-led initiative and help them navigate challenges. So this is correct? Yes, this is correct. So right answer, okay, everyone is giving correct answer only. So B, 1 and 3 only is the correct answer there, okay. So this was the answer. So this was all about today's discussion. Please read newspaper also, okay, and have a nice day. Keep reading. Stay blessed. Thank you very much.